Have you ever been betrayed by the very people you trusted the most? Imagine devoting yourself to someone only to be thrown aside because of lies, arrogance, and greed. This isn't just a story about marriage, it's a story about betrayal, strength, and ultimate justice. Let me take you inside my life, where I stood face to face with my husband, the man who threw me out of our home because he chose to believe his son's lies instead of me. That night, I handed him a stack of papers that would change everything. His smirk faded, his hands trembled, and the lies he built his world on began to crumble. My name is Clara. I am 52 years old, and this is how I broke free. Chapter 1: A House Divided. When I married Richard, I thought I was entering the next chapter of my life with hope. I was widowed years earlier, and raising my daughter Anna alone was not easy. Richard came into my life as a comforting presence, someone who promised companionship and stability. But Richard came with baggage, his grown son Ethan. From the very beginning, Ethan made it clear he didn't see me as family. He clung to the memory of his late mother and refused to leave the house they once shared. "This is my mother's home," Ethan said on the first week I moved in. "She may be gone, but I'm not leaving." I tried to be patient. I had lost a husband, he had lost a mother. Grief leaves wounds that don't heal easily, but sympathy only carried me so far. His words cut deeper every day. "My mom was a better cook," Ethan sneered one evening, pushing aside the meal I had spent hours preparing. "But I guess I'll eat this." Richard, sitting right there at the table, shrugged as if it wasn't his problem. "If he doesn't like your cooking, don't make him any," he said indifferently. I followed his advice. The next day when Ethan returned home and found no dinner waiting for him, he erupted. "Where's my food? You married my dad. That means it's your job to cook for me too." No matter what I did, I was always wrong in Ethan's eyes. And Richard? He looked the other way, too afraid or too unwilling to confront his son. Chapter 2: The Daughter and the Contrast. While my home life crumbled, Anna brought me a piece of joy. One evening she called me, her voice bubbling with excitement. "Mom, I have news! I'm engaged!" Tears welled in my eyes. After years of pain, here was happiness. "Congratulations, sweetheart," I said warmly. "Your father in heaven must be smiling." Anna's fiancé, Michael, soon came into our lives, kind, respectful, everything Richard and Ethan were not. He was Ethan's age, yet so much more mature. When Anna introduced us, I felt relief. "You found yourself a wonderful man," I told her, silently wishing Ethan could have learned something from Michael. When Michael learned how I was being treated at home, he said, "If things get unbearable, you can always come live with us." His words planted a seed of strength in me. Chapter 3: The Mask Slips. Richard began disappearing on weekends. When I asked where he was, he claimed, "Helping a friend whose mother is in the hospital." But his excuses were shaky. His eyes darted, his voice trembled. I knew something was off. Ethan, ever cruel, noticed the tension. "Dad probably regrets marrying an old woman like you," he smirked. "Maybe he wants someone younger. You'll end up alone, cheated on, and kicked out." Those words stung, not because they were cruel, but because I feared they might be true. Chapter 4: Proof of Betrayal. Anna and Michael called me one evening. "Mom, we need to talk," Anna said. At their apartment, Michael pulled out his phone. "Is this your husband?" he asked, showing me a photo. It was Richard, arm in arm with a much younger woman. They weren't just dating, they were planning a wedding. My heart sank. The man I had trusted was preparing to marry someone else while still married to me. Anna gripped my hand. "You need to divorce him, Mom." Michael nodded. "We'll help you. Let's hire an investigator. We'll make sure he pays." For the first time in months, I felt supported. Chapter 5: The Lies Turned on Me. Back at home, Richard and Ethan confronted me. "Clara, we need to talk," Richard said firmly. Ethan smirked and shoved a blurry photo in my face. "Caught you with a younger man, dating someone your daughter's age? Disgraceful." "That's Anna's fiancé," I replied calmly. "She was with us that night." But Richard didn't want the truth. "You've been unfaithful. Leave this house. We'll sort out the divorce and money later." I almost laughed at the absurdity. "Fine," I said coolly. "I'll leave, but this story isn't over." Chapter 6: The Confrontation. 3 weeks later, Richard called. "Bring the divorce papers. Let's settle this." I arrived with Anna, Michael, and my lawyer. Richard's confidence faltered when he saw them. "Why didn't you come alone?" he stammered. "You never asked me to," I said, sliding the papers across the table. "Sign these," he smirked. "Why should I pay alimony? You cheated." Our lawyer handed him the investigator's report, photos, receipts, proof of his affair. Richard's face drained of color. His mistress wasn't just younger. She was using him for money. Ethan's jaw dropped. "You're broke?" he gasped when Richard confessed he had spent his inheritance on her. "What about me? What about my future?" Richard whispered. "There's nothing left." For once, Ethan had no words. Chapter 7. Freedom. I signed the final documents and stood. Ethan looked at me desperately. "Don't leave us. Dad's never home. I can't survive without you." I smiled faintly. "Then ask your father's new wife. You'll have a young housekeeper soon enough." And I walked out, free. I moved in with Anna and Michael. Their small apartment felt warmer than the big house I left behind. Soon, Anna announced she was pregnant. I was going to be a grandmother. Meanwhile, Richard's mistress ran off with his money. He was left in debt, abandoned. Ethan called me, begging for help. "I'm not your mother," I told him coldly, "and I never will be." Ending life is peaceful now. I sit in Anna's home, rocking gently in a chair, listening to her laugh with Michael. Soon, the house will echo with the cries of a newborn. Richard and Ethan are nothing but shadows of a life I escaped. And I've learned this: sometimes betrayal is the greatest gift. It shows you who people really are, and it gives you the strength to walk away.